This video presentation will show the features and options of Meteor's eLab RIP version 2.61. eLab has a new user interface that's easy to use and includes the ability to create, select, and manage both color management setups as well as calibration setups. There's also support for extended Gamut Printing, full integration with our MetPrint digital front end, new features for label printing that include step and repeat as well as sequential step imposition, and the new RIP now has a log file which gives a searchable history of processed jobs. Version 2.61 has support for MetCal Cross Web Calibration option. We'll also show you the speed advantage that our Scalable RIP Farm option can provide. The main window has controls for all of the primary RIP functions, like selecting a RIP configuration, setting the resolution, selecting a color setup and calibration setup, as well as mirror print rotation and PDF page range. A color settings section allows you to create a color management setup. In the setup, you can make specific selections like choosing an ICC device profile. The saved setup can then be applied when processing a job from the main window. The RIP's Calibration Manager allows you to create and save screen linearizations or single-channel ink limits. You can select from two configuration groups, one for the press operator to use in day-to-day production, and a second development group which can be used for creating and testing RIP configurations. There's now support for multicolor extended gamut printing. CMYK plus orange, CMYK plus orange and green, or orange, green, and violet can all be used. Here's an example of how easy it is to use the eLab RIP together with the MetPrint DFE. Begin by clicking on the eLab RIP icon in the MetPrint toolbar. Next, what we can do is select a test job. We've got a 50-page PDF that we're going to separate, color separate to CMYK. So that'll be 200 color separation TIFF files. Simply drag and drop the file into the drop zone, select the RIP config, make any other selections, and click on RIP job. Once the job is complete, you can put the eLab RIP away, go back to MetPrint, and you'll see the job will appear in the MetPrint Ready queue. We've got some new features especially for label printers: step and repeat and sequential step impose. Step and repeat gives you an efficient way of printing multiples of the same job stepping across the web. In the configuration window, you can select the impose style, the number of steps across the page, as well as other selections. We'll RIP the job, and then when it's complete, we can click on View TIFFs and preview how the job is going to run on the press. Sequential step is ideal for printing VDP labels. In this case, what we'll do is step that VDP job 5 times across the web, selecting sequential step, RIP the job, and then once again, when the job is complete, we can click on View TIFFs and see how the job will run on the press. Here's the VDP job, and there they are. A RIP log file containing a history of processed jobs can be accessed by clicking on the View Log File button. In the log file, you can use the search feature to search for jobs by name, and the log file will also show you information like the name of the job, a time and date stamp, and the status of the job. You can also use the log file together with the List Spot Colors utility to show you a listing of all the spot colors in any job. eLab is the perfect companion RIP for Meteor's MetCal option. MetCal provides two major benefits for cross web calibration: nozzle fix and print flat. When combined, these two technologies provide the ultimate in a cross web calibration package. The MetCal procedure consists of three basic steps: nozzle fix, print and scan targets, create and install calibration files. In order to show you how eLab works closely with MetCal, we will first explain a bit about how MetCal and PrintFlat operate in a workflow. In a typical workflow, a PDF job comes into the RIP and is rasterized, then screened as a successive process before being sent to the printer. In a PrintFlat workflow, PDF jobs come into the RIP but are ripped to continuous tone separations, then sent to the ScreenPro PrintFlat package to apply the cross-web calibration corrections. After the corrections are made, the file is then sent on to the printer. Now let's move on to show all this in action. The MetCal option manages PrintFlat. First, to create the cross-web calibrations, then to apply the calibrations to print jobs. We begin by using the eLab RIP and RIP our example job using one of the MetCal RIP configurations. When the RIP has completed ripping the job, it will appear in MetPrint's Ready queue. Next, we select one of the PrintFlat calibrated screens and send the job to the print queue. From there, the fully calibrated job can now be run on the press. New in version 2.61 is the Scalable RIP Farm option. This optional feature provides significantly faster RIP performance, as much as 400% increase over standard RIP times. To demonstrate this feature, we're going to use this 100-page VDP job, ripped at 600 dpi, 2-bit per pixel, CMYK separations. Before we begin, we will enable the Scalable RIP Farm and set the number of parallel RIPs to 8. Once we've made these selections, we can process a job just like any other. Drag and drop, select a RIP configuration, and hit RIP Job. Once the job begins processing, we can pull up Windows Task Manager so you'll see the 8 RIPs working in parallel. There it is, job complete. That's 400 TIFF separations in 1 minute 19 seconds. Next, we'll go back and rip the job again, this time using a single rip so that you can see the performance difference. The single rip completes the same job in just under 5 minutes.